Alrighty, friends and viewers, it's time for another haul video. Back again once more with this frankly ridiculous stack of books. It's all sitting next to me on the couch, and until I put it next to me on the couch, I didn't realize how crazy this stack of books is. But a little bit of context, my last haul was sort of close to the mid-end of December, and this haul encompasses both the end of December and the all of January up through now. Part of the reason why this is so full is because some of the things I did were trades, so sort of an even exchange of stuff. But also, I went back to my parents' house in South Carolina, and so driving along the East Coast, I was able to stop at a bunch of different comic book stores and pick up quite a few things that were out of print, hard to find. I found a couple really cool finds in here that are not easy to find online or in the secondhand market for a good price, and I was able to scoop a few things for what I consider to be a pretty good price. So I'm going to go through this. It's not exactly in any particular order. I kind of have it arranged by size, but not really. So I'm just going to start pulling things out, talking about them as I go, and hopefully you find some of the stuff interesting, or maybe you want to pick some of it up as well. So this is the beginning of the December-January mega haul round 2. I know I had the November-December mega haul, so hopefully after this things get a little more... I mean, who am I kidding? I love buying comic books. I absolutely love it. I love hunting and finding them and stuff like that. So, it's not that I want to stop buying them, but realities and taxes and everything do exist. So hopefully everything, is more reasonable from now on. But this is my holidays haul. Happy holidays. So let's check it out. Starting with Scalped Book 3. This is the third of the deluxe editions from Jason Aaron's Scalped run. I have not started to read any of these. I've just been getting them as they come out. This one was released, I think, like maybe mid-December, end of December. Yeah, I think right around the end of December. So this is the third book in, I believe there's going to be 5. I actually am not totally sure, but this is 25 through 34, and I'm pretty sure that there are either 50 or 60 of them. I think there's 60 issues, so if the next book does 34 through or 35 through 45, and then after that you can do something like that, something about 5-ish deluxe edition. So I've only heard amazing things about it. I really like the art a lot, and I know it's like a gritty kind of a crime story on a Native American ranch kind of deal. So Scalped Book 3. I like Jason Aaron, and still picking this stuff up, and eventually I will get around to reading it and giving you my opinions. Next, we have something that I actually historically have not really been into. That's a bunch of Spider-Man books. Spider-Man is not a character that I've ever really gotten into that much. I'm looking to get into his stuff more, but I just don't know all that much about it. And it was never, I don't know, it was never really that appealing to me. But I sort of did a little bit of research, and I've been collecting, if you can see up there, my shelf is a total disaster, mostly because I pulled these books out to show you guys, so everything was falling over. So I'm sorry, OCD people, or anybody who loves their collections to not be leaning. It's going to be leaning for this video. But I'm trying to finish the Marvel Now hardcover run, everything that was put out then, now that there's the all-new, all-different Marvel. So I was reading a lot of positive things about Superior Spider-Man, so I had some orders that needed to be filled up to $50 on in-stock trades, so I got all 3 of the Superior Spider-Man hardcovers here. From what I understand, this is basically a series where Dr. Octopus takes over Spider-Man's body, and then it's because he thinks that he can be a better hero than Spider-Man can be, or that Peter Parker is. So it's basically Dr. Octopus, and I'm sorry I'm sure he has another name, and I just don't know it because I don't read Spider-Man, like I said. But it's basically him taking over, and there's 3 hardcovers for it. They're all really nice quality, and I've only heard amazing things about this run, so I was excited to pick those up. And then in addition to that, I got the next hardcover, which is Amazing Spider-Man, also from the Marvel Now run, also written by Dan Slott. So as far as I understand, basically it went Superior Spider-Man was the beginning of Marvel Now for those 3 hardcovers. Then it became Amazing Spider-Man for 1, where Peter Parker has his body back from Otto Octavius. There you go. Not Dr. Octopus, Otto Octavius. Is no longer in control of his body, and now it's Peter Parker for this hardcover. And then the Spider-Verse event happens, I think, after this, sort of. So I still need to pick up Spider-Verse. I know people were a little miffed that the reading order on it was really weird because it collected a bunch of different series and it didn't do them in a logical order or something along those lines. But this is basically the continuation of Slott's Spider-Man, and I know there's more new Spider-Man going on now with the all new, all different. So I think it's the Miles Morales one, but I'm excited to get into this stuff because I like Dan Slott's work, and I've heard good things about it, so I'm ready to jump in. Next up, continuing the Marvel Now hardcovers, is the X-Men Battle of the Atom hardcover. This to me is a little bit ridiculous. I don't really understand this hardcover. I do like the construction of it and everything, but this is a freaking $50 book. This, for how thin this is like, this should have been $35. I honestly don't understand why this was a $50 book. But I was able to get it for, discount being through online retailers. But basically, as far as I understand it, I know it collects both All New X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, Wolverine and the X-Men, and X-Men Battle of the Atom, as well as X-Men 536. Either way, the point is that, Brian Michael Bendis was writing X-Men, both Uncanny and All New X-Men in Marvel Now, and this is basically the X-Men crossover event at the sort of the middle of a couple of the different arcs in those. So, unfortunately, I sort of felt like I needed to get it to be, complete or caught up, or at least have all of this kind of uniform format for a lot of these different books, but it is more expensive than I would like to pay for something like this, and I'm not sure if eventually we're going to see an Uncanny X-Men omnibus from this run, because none of it has gotten an hardcover treatment, but either way, one step closer to completing the Marvel Now hardcovers. I know there's like a Black Vortex one that I think crosses over between Guardians of the Galaxy and X-Men or something like that, so one day, we'll make it there one day. Next up, another deluxe edition before we get into the omnibus and even bigger ones. This is the, whoa, kitty cat. This is the Green Arrow by Jeff Lemire, deluxe edition. This came out also at the end of December, and this is in this seems to be the format that DC is going to be doing for their New 52 deluxe editions. If you can see that, it's kind of, the Multiversity had the same one, as well as Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing. It's going to be like this kind of ribbon of text down the middle of it. It's a little hard to see, but this is a nice looking book. I like the way it is constructed. It seems like a really nice quality for a DC book, really nice and thick, and the binding and everything is pretty nice. I don't know much of anything at all about the New 52 Green Arrow run, but I know I love Jeff Lemire, as you guys know if you've seen any of my other videos, and I've heard only really good things about this run. As far as I understand, I think it starts on issue like 17 or something like that. Yeah, Green Arrow 17 through 34, because I'm pretty sure the first like 1 through 16 are universally considered to be pretty bad. Of the New 52 Green Arrow. So this, luckily, they decided to collect the pretty good run in a oversized hardcover, which is really nice. I'm still looking out for more New 52 runs. I'm interested to see how they ultimately collect the Azzarello and Chang Wonder Woman, as well as the Scott Snyder Batman. What kind of format those are going to get, because those are both series that I'm interested in finishing reading. And now that the New 52 looks like it's going to be stopping at issue 52 for a lot of these books, I guess this is a good time for them to sort out how they're going to be collecting a lot of it. So, Green Arrow by Jeff Lemire. If you like Jeff Lemire or Green Arrow stuff, this seems like a really cool jumping on point. I know it's going to be my first Green Arrow story that I'm going to read, so excited to crack into that. And then last from DC in the oversized department is the Dark Knight Master Race number 3. No, sorry. Dark Knight 3, Master Race number 2 Deluxe. I talked last time in my video about this, that basically the Dark Knight 3 Master Race is going to be getting these oversized hardcovers, sort of like mini oversized hardcovers, I guess, basically collecting each issue in an oversized format. And then on the side, you can't really see it, but there's a little bit of like a white, there's a little bit of a pattern going on. It's going to be like, ultimately, when you put all 8 of these oversized things together, there's going to be like a little picture created on the spines. So, just keeping up with collecting these, more of like a novelty item more than anything else. They're not my favorite way to read because they're so small and the pages and everything are not like amazingly... It's just not the best quality, but that's not necessarily anybody's fault. It's just the size of the binding and everything. So, more of just a collector's piece. They're not that expensive. I think they're like $12 per one. So picking these up as they come out, and going to get the slipcase with number 8, and then it will all be complete, which the completionist in me will love, but I don't think I'll probably wait until there's like an omnibus or some type of format to read them. But here's Dark Knight Master Race 3. God, Dark Knight 3 Master Race number 2. It's confusingly titled. All right, and on to the omnibus and big, huge, oversized collections. I believe everything from now on is going to be that. This I was really, really happy to pick up. This was an amazing find, in my opinion. This is the Jack Kirby Commandy Last Boy on Earth Omnibus Volume 1. Now, DC put out this kind of confusingly titled line of Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko. There's some Simon and Kirby stuff, like basically early Silver Age and like late Golden Age stuff that they put out in what they called an omnibus format, but it was not oversized. And since then, DC's omnibi have been oversized. So the Jack Kirby ones are kind of like trickling in and out of print. Some of them are still really easy to find. Some of them are becoming increasingly difficult to find. This one is difficult to find, so I was very happy to pick it up at a comic shop in South Carolina that happened to have it sitting there. It is the, classic Kirby. It uses this really old style of paper. It's hard to describe, but it's like a toothier paper, like a newsprint, instead of like a glossy, newer one. And it holds the inks and everything and the colors like really, really well, especially for this old school, Silver Age style. I can't say that maybe things with newer colorings, like post-2000, would look good on this newsprint. I'm not sure, but these kind of like really bold primary color, like Jack Kirby style art, I think really, really looks good and feels good on these newspaper print pages. So I was able to pick up Volume 1, which usually goes for anywhere in like the $150-ish range, so I was able to get it for cover at $50, and I was pretty pleased with that because I always look for Jack Kirby omnibus stuff when I'm in stores, because some of them are quite difficult to find. So now I just need to pick up Volume 2, and then there's a few more Jack Kirby things here and there that I want to pick up, but hopefully, I am hopeful that, I don't know if DC would release absolute editions of these one day, I'm not really sure. But I am hopeful that the DC Jack Kirby stuff, like New Gods and Commandy, eventually gets like oversized omnibus treatment or something that like a really nice format that's better than the glued binding sort of standard size hardcovers that we already have. All right, moving on to another non-Marvel book. This is actually my first book from this publisher. This is the Archer and Armstrong omnibus from Valiant Publishing. This just came out maybe a week or two ago, and Valiant. I am not the Valiant master by any means. I know very little about them, but from what I understand, in the 90s, they did a bunch of books which basically were sort of an interconnected universe, their own Valiant universe, and then after that, it shut down at some point. I don't know if this was in the early 2000s or late 90s. And now they have rebooted the Valiant universe, and they have new series going, and they're all, once again, interconnected. And I think a lot of people tend to like it because it's not as wide of a line as like Marvel or DC. You can kind of realistically read all the Valiant titles and feel like you're getting a cohesive world and story from it. But as part of their relaunch, they've been collecting these classic omnibus, which they've done one, I know, for X-O Manowar. I think there might be some others. I'm not sure. But this is the Archer and Armstrong one, which collects the entire 1990s Archer and Armstrong series, mostly done by Barry Windsor Smith, as far as I can tell. It's 0 through 26, as well as a few other side stories. So it's about a 30-ish issue omnibus. I am a little bit disappointed in the quality of it. I have to say that, like, if you look at the binding, I was kind of expecting something a little nicer. It's not. It doesn't really lie very flat, and it kind of snaps shut at different areas. And one thing that people mention for the X-O Manowar omnibus, and is also true for this, is that it's oversized pages, but the art is not oversized. Whoa, kitty! If you can see this, it's hard to tell what I'm saying, but basically there's this black border on every page, and so instead of a traditional oversized book where the oversized art will go all the way out to the pages, it's literally the same size as a normal comic book page, just presented in this oversized format. So that's weird to me. I have not read this yet, so I can't say if I have like buyer's remorse if I like or dislike the actual book itself. But In terms of the presentation and the quality and the format, I don't really think it lived up to what I expected it to be. So eventually, when I read this, I will give you my opinions on it further, the Valiant universe. But I have to say that I was a little bit disappointed by the way the book is actually put together and constructed. And hopefully, I still want to get into the Valiant relaunch stuff that's out there now from like the 2010s and stuff. So hopefully the quality of those is a little bit closer to a normal deluxe format, because this was a little bit disappointing to me. And now we enter the Marvel Omnibus arena. There's a bunch of stuff here. I guess we'll just hop with what's closest to me, which is the two Fantastic Four Omnibus from Jonathan Hickman. This is Jonathan Hickman's Volume 1 and Volume 2, Fantastic Four. I've been going through trying to collect all of the oversized hardcover versions of all of the Hickman stuff, because I know he did, I have some other Hickman things in this pile too, but basically I know Secret Wars is ending right now, which is a Hickman written one, and everybody is really, really loving it, and I have done a little bit of digging and research to kind of figure out what I would need to read pre-Secret Wars to get myself up to understanding what Hickman is doing and really get the most out of this kind of world-bending and world-shaping endeavor. So these books I picked up towards that end. The Volume 1 is out of print and becoming pretty hard to find. Volume 2 is still around, and I think is on sale right now, so that one's not too difficult. But I did get a copy of Volume 1. I traded, what did I trade for these? The Martha Washington hardcover, I think, for both of these? No. Oh, no, maybe I just bought them for a good deal off Facebook, off a swap group. I'm not really sure. I think that's what it was. But I got a good deal on these, both hardcover omnibus, so I was able to pick them up and felt pretty good about swiping those. And eventually I will get around to kind of exploring Hickman's Marvel Universe in more depth, because I'm still kind of collecting things and setting myself up to read that eventually. And on a related note to the Fantastic Four, I also picked up Secret Warriors Omnibus. This is this one I traded my Martha Washington slipcase for, because I just didn't really feel like Martha Washington was worth hanging on to when I could grab something a little bit more interesting to me. This, I think, is one of the first Hickman things that you need to read to understand the Marvel Universe that he's basically created. This collects Secret Warriors 1 through 28, as well as a bunch of different side projects: Avengers 13, 18, Dark Reign, Secret Warriors, Siege, Secret Warriors, Dark Reign, Nation Number 1, a bunch of different stuff. But as far as I understand it, this is kind of like a Nick Fury story, and it sets up a lot of things in motion that then Hickman explores in his other Avengers and New Avengers and Secret Wars run. So I'm very excited to pick this up. This one is out of print and is becoming harder to find. Like I said, I traded it, and I felt like I got a pretty good swap for it, so pretty fair trade. And I'm excited to dive into this because I've only heard really good things. Most people saying it's one of the best Nick Fury stories that's ever been put out by Marvel. So very excited to get into that. This was just a totally random pickup, just, really for no particular reason, but this is the Evolutionary War Omnibus. I got this because it was like $25 at a used bookstore, and it has no... I don't know anything about it, literally anything about it. I mean, from what I understand, looking at the back of it, it looks like it's a bunch of annuals. It's like X-Factor Annual, Punisher Annual, Silver Surfer Annual, New Mutants Annual, Amazing Spider-Man Annual, Fantastic Four Annual. So it looks like maybe one year. I'm not sure what year it would be. This looks like maybe late 80s or something like that. But looks like at some point in the late 80s, there were a bunch of different annuals, supersized annuals. It has all of the different covers on the back. But a bunch of different annuals which all link together into this Evolutionary War story. So I don't know anything about it. I just picked it up because it was so gosh darn cheap. And I like I like this time period and this style of art, the 80s art and the coloring and stuff. It's endearing to me in some weird way, and I enjoy reading this kind of stuff. So I just picked it up just to see what it was all about, get through some of these annuals and find interesting stuff. I'm sure some of it I'll like and some of it I'll dislike, so eventually I'll talk about this if it's worth talking about, but I really don't know anything about it. I just know it's one of the cheaper omnibus that people don't really collect or care for in the Marvel line, so picked it up because I saw it for cheap. Here we get into a little Thor run that I was able to score in a few different places. This is the Amazing Thor... Mighty Thor Omnibus Volume 2 from Kirby and Stan Lee. This collects Journey into Mystery 121 through 125, as well as the Mighty Thor 126 through 152. So basically, Journey into Mystery was the original magazine that Thor, comics magazine that Thor debuted in. It ran up through 125 as Journey into Mystery, and then it got renumbered as Thor. So the first Mighty Thor issue is actually issue 126. There was not a Thor #1 of this original run. So, but this does collect basically the Kirby and Lee run on, or at least part of it on Thor. There's also another omnibus which collects more of the Journey into Mystery stuff before issue 121. But this is the first Thor standalone comics, as well as the end of the Journey into Mystery Thor stuff. So I'm excited to jump into this just because I love Jack Kirby art, and I want to read more Thor stuff. So got this one. It's still in print, not hard to find or anything, so swipe it if you before it goes out if you're interested in Thor. And then through random happenstance, when I was driving up and down the East Coast, like I was talking about, I managed to pick up both cover copies of Straczynski's Thor omnibus. So this is an omnibus from J. Michael Straczynski. It was a smaller omnibus, one of the smaller ones that Marvel has done. It had only retailed for $65, but it basically collected Thor 1 through 12, 601 through 603, and then the giant-size finale, as well as a couple Fantastic Four issues, which set it up. So this was basically a JMS, the Straczynski run on Thor, which was born out of a couple Fantastic Four issues, and then there was this own Thor volume. And it ended, from what I understand, it basically ended on sort of like an ambiguously cliffhanger-ish kind of way. And then I think Kieran Gillen, I believe, continued the concepts in here on his run in, it was Journey into Mystery, went back to, so. The numbering convention, as always, is a little bit confusing with Marvel books, because it looks like this ran as number 1 through 12, and then they decided to go back to the numbering of 601 through 603, so. Either way, I don't know which one is the direct market and which one is the standard cover, but these are both the same books. I just got the different covers. I know they're out of print, so I basically picked up an extra copy looking to trade or sell if anybody was interested in those. So, but right now I have them both on my shelf because I haven't figured out what I want to do with them. So there you go, 2 copies of the same Thor omnibus, both covers. If anybody's interested, send me a message through YouTube. Here we have a good deal basically that I scooped off of eBay. This is the Invincible Iron Man #2 omnibus. This collects, similar to what happened with the Thor one I was just talking about. Iron Man was part of the Tales of Suspense magazine, along with Captain America. So this collects content from Tales of Suspense 84 through 99, as well as the first 25 issues of Iron Man's standalone series. So unlike with Thor, where it went from Journey into Mystery 125 to Thor 126, this went from Tales of Suspense 99 to Iron Man #1. So there is actually an Iron Man #1 in this. This is the redone art from Iron Man #1. And I was able to get this for a really good price. These often sell online, from what I can tell, you know, in the upper 100 and something, 75, maybe a little more, because they're out of print and tough to find. But this is the run that was Stan Lee and Gene Colan did, Colan, I don't know how you say it, for part of it, and then Archie Goodwin took over for the writing duties for a lot of it. And I really, really love this time period, late 60s golden age, or not golden age, jeez, late 60s silver age comics from Marvel or from DC or from anybody is just really, really lovely to me. You know, this time when Steranko was working, and you know, Gene Colan and what's his name, Wally Wood was doing some stuff with Daredevil, as well as Jack Kirby and Sal Buscema, John Buscema. I guess John Buscema more in the late 60s. But I love this kind of stuff. I just totally dig the style and the colors from that time period. It's really vibrant and comic booky, if that makes sense. It definitely plays into what people understand comic books to be. It definitely was not the 80s yet, when everybody was trying to deconstruct and subvert the comic book genre. This very much was embracing the love and the goofiness of comic books. You know, all the Destroyer cometh and everything, and the Controller, all that, you know, all these bad guys. It's kind of like Monster of the Week goofiness, but I just love it. I really find it to be quite fun to read and really enjoyable to me. So I was able to pick this up for a good deal. I'm still looking for the Volume 1. There is a volume 1 which collects more of the Tales of Suspense stuff before issue 84. I think it was like, I think Iron Man debuted in Tales of Suspense like 39 or something like that. So Tales of Suspense 39 through 84 is out there in an omnibus somewhere. So, like I said, I'm trying to pick up Tales of Suspense the Invincible Iron Man Omnibus Volume 1, which collects more of the Tales of Suspense stuff. But eventually, when I get it, I'll give you guys my thoughts on the Iron Man run. But right now, I'm just happy to have this in my collection. And now on to the big Mac Daddies, the larger size collections. This one I picked up new. This is not an out of print or anything like that. This is the Absolute Green Lantern Green Arrow from Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams, that is. Not my, I've talked about it before. Not my most favorite guy these days, but I have to say, the art in this collection and the stark sort of the way it's all presented is totally gorgeous. Like, really, really, really nice. This is one of the nicest absolutes that I've seen. Ooh, nice and creaky right there. It uses like a really nice matte paper, which some of the other absolutes use as well, and it just looks phenomenal. I mean, this looks so good. It's definitely a run that a lot of people celebrate as being something where comic books kind of grew up. I believe this was like a late 70s kind of run, and it deals with like social issues, drug addiction, poverty, I think racism, and different feelings of discontent in like late 70s. And then, Denny O'Neil was writing that kind of stuff, and then to complement it, Neil Adams was drawing this really, really, really gorgeous looking comic book. And so I'm very excited to jump into this. I have not read it yet, but I certainly will whenever I have the next opening in my reading schedule. But this this Absolute is out right now. I think it's $100 list price, and you can definitely get it for probably around 60 to 70 bucks right now. So I would highly recommend picking it up. $100 list. So you can get it for relatively cheap. Grab it before it goes out of print for whatever reason, and it's really an awesome looking book. One of my favorite absolutes just to look at on the shelf, and I haven't even read it yet. So I'm assuming I will enjoy it greatly when I actually do start reading it. But just for right now, I think it's just one of the better designed and looking ones. It really has a very nice graphic design quality to it. So excited to get into that. And then finally, last but not least, but also kind of least because it's something that is not interesting to me immediately at this moment, but I was able to pick up the Madman Atomica honkin' huge. It's basically the same size as, it's not quite absolute size if I hold it up to Green Lantern Green Arrow, but it's very close. It's almost like that. It's sort of like a Dark Horse Library Edition size. This is the Madman Atomica signed and numbered limited edition. I basically picked this up with the intent of trading it or selling it. This is if you are familiar with Madman, it's Michael Allred's character that he did. And this is the second large collection. There's also a Madman, I think it's Gargantua, and I would like to get Gargantua because, as far as I understand, Gargantua comes first in the genesis of Madman, and then Atomica basically collects, I think, the Madman and the Atomics series. Like, there's this sort of side group of superheroes that you can see down here that he works with for some of these issues. So I love Mike Allred's art. I loved his stuff in Ecstatics. I like his stuff in Silver Surfer, and I like the way he draws stuff in general. It has like a very pop art kind of style to it. This book is out of print and is tough to find, but I haven't really found that many people that are super interested in it. I don't think there's that many people who care whether it's signed and numbered or not. So I happened to get the more expensive signed and numbered one just because that was what they had at the store, and I knew that this was going to be like the only chance I would ever get to pick this up for cover price, which wasn't cheap in and of itself. But this is the last addition to my my library at the moment, and I'm not sure exactly if I want to open it and start thumbing through and reading it, or if I want to keep it. It's not quite sealed. It's kind of flipping off some plastic in some areas, but basically I do have this one, and eventually I'm hoping Gargantua and Atomica both get reprints, so maybe I can pick up Gargantua for not too expensive, and then I can actually read the entire Madman series in a way that is appealing to me. But until then, I have this standalone book sitting on my shelf until I figure out what I want to do with it. So that, my friends, is the end of my haul. Gigantic, I know. It was quite large, but like I said, I picked up a number of these on my way traveling around to and from South Carolina, grabbing some of those, and then other ones I traded for, and other ones I found good deals. And you collect stuff here and there, and then it builds up to be larger than you ever thought you would for a month and a half of collecting. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I was able to give some amount of interesting insight into the books and why I picked them up and what they are and what they mean to me in terms of my reading order and why I'm interested in reading them. As always, if you like this and would like to see more haul videos and previous videos and stuff, please give my channel a subscription. I would love if you stuck around and checked out more videos in the future. If you liked this, give me a thumbs up. If you liked it, give it a thumbs, or disliked it, give it a thumbs down, and let me know what you'd like to see improved or changed. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, what you guys picked up for your sort of holidays haul, your Christmas haul, or whatever holiday it is you celebrate. Were you able to scoop any awesome books towards the end of December through January? And please let me know what you're reading these days, what you're picking up, and I will see you guys in the comments section and in next week's video. Thanks for watching.